I haven't cooked in about 3 years.
I want 10 kids. Oh, do we ever fight or argue? Ooh. Hey there, and welcome over here today. We are super excited to share this video with you. As you can tell, we're pretty much doing a couples Q&A. So about a month ago, I asked you guys to ask us questions on a video I posted on YouTube as well as on Instagram. So we're going to be trying to answer as many questions as possible, and I brought my husband in and he's going to try to answer a lot of questions too, but we're pretty excited about it, so let's get started.
Let's get started.
I have all of the questions written out here on my phone, and we're going to go back and forth to ask the questions. I do also want to mention that I didn't let my husband see any of these questions, so all of these questions are foreign to him. He's never seen them, so it's going to be pretty exciting for him to answer. So I'll start. You want to ask the first one?
Sure.
Okay.
Have you enjoyed cooking/baking since you were young?
Okay, the answer to that question would be yes, I've always enjoyed cooking/baking, but I wouldn't say I've always been good at it. Okay, so now the next question is, what type of meals do you like to cook? I like to cook pretty much anything, whatever I'm in the mood for or whatever I'm craving, I pretty much make. You want to ask that one?
Yeah. How do you go about meal planning for the week?
Oh, okay. I'm actually going to answer that question in a video. I'm going to make an entire meal planning video, how I meal plan, so that's going to be exciting. And then, where did Brinley's name come from?
Ooh.
That's
a good question.
That's okay. It's kind of unique. I'm going to start by answering that. So we were on a road trip home from my family's house back down to New Mexico, and it was my sister, my brother, Will, and I in a car, and I was pregnant. I was like 7 months pregnant, I want to say.
Yeah, that's
and we didn't quite have a name. We liked the names Sadie and Ellie at that point. We loved those names. But my younger sister, she pulled out her phone and she started looking at baby girl names on the internet. And she's like, how about Brinley? That's a super cute name. And I was like, it's all right. What did you think of it?
I actually really liked it immediately.
Yeah, so he liked it. But so when I fell in love with the name is my sister's name's Bailey and my brother's name's Brandon. So if you put those two names together, it's kind of like Brinley in a way. So that's how I fell in love with the name, and it's kind of like a family name to us now because it's like Brandon and Bailey, my two siblings, put their names together equals Brinley. So that's how we came up with her name.
And I fell in love with it just because I had never heard the name before, and I thought it was a really pretty little girl name, so.
Yeah, it was a pretty name. And now this one's for Will. It's, where does your husband work?
Where do I work? So I work for a private engineering company as an environmental compliance specialist here in a remote part of Utah.
Yeah. And, what did your husband go to school for?
So I went to school for environmental science and management at Utah Valley University.
Yep, and he just graduated in May.
May.
Yep, they didn't have a graduation though,
Nope.
unfortunately. Do you want to ask that one?
Yeah. Where did you get your passion for cooking?
Ooh.
Is it because of me and getting married?
No. So my passion for cooking started because I would say I wasn't the best cook. So I would never make great food, and I just was like, nobody's born a cook. Nobody's born an amazing cook. Nobody's born amazing at anything. So I just started cooking and cooking and cooking because we didn't have a lot of money to eat out. So then I just started getting passionate about it. Oh, what ingredient do you automatically leave out a recipe when you see it in there? For me, that is bell peppers. That's like the only thing. I don't love bell peppers. I just don't love the taste of them. Do you have one that you'd leave out?
I haven't cooked in about 3 years.
Yeah, he doesn't cook, so.
I cook myself some breakfast sometimes, or like oatmeal, but I don't cook anymore. I used to think I was good, but
yeah,
so
we'll go over that
in
a minute. So the next question is,
Is your husband in the military? I am not in the military.
Nope.
I am a private contractor, happened to move out to a military base, and there was no housing within a good hour from here, so
Yep,
we
so
got
here we
qualified for
are.
housing out here, but I am not in the military. Respect to all of our armed forces and first responders. Love you guys.
Okay. So do you plan on having more children? Yes, we plan on having a lot more
Definitely.
children. I want 10 kids. I'm just joking. So when I was younger, I actually always thought I wanted like 10 kids or like a lot of children. But now that I have Brinley, our daughter, I'm realizing how much work having kids are. So
But
maybe
we want more kids.
Yeah, we definitely want more kids. How many kids would you say you want?
I don't know, 3 kids? We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Having kids like puts in perspective like how much work they actually are.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it makes our life amazing.
Yeah, it's
So
yeah, children are amazing.
they'll come in time.
Have you always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom? Yes, I have always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. My mom was actually a stay-at-home mom. She was also a teacher before she had kids, but I've always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom if I was able to. And right now I am able to, so I'm very thankful for that.
All right. What part of New Mexico are you from? Want me to answer that first?
Yeah, sure.
I'm from Los Alamos, New Mexico. So really,
It's a small town, but not
small
like
town, but it's
where
well
we
known
live.
from the Los Alamos National Laboratory. It's a really pretty town.
And I'm from the biggest city in New Mexico, which is Albuquerque, New Mexico. I grew up there, but I was born in California. Ooh, here's a fun one. How old are you guys?
How old do you think we are?
Yeah, go first.
All right. I turned 25 this year.
Yep, he turned 25 in May, and I turned 22 in March. So we are pretty young, but I don't know. I feel older than my age, I guess, sometimes. Do you want to ask the next question?
Sure. What brought you to Utah? It's actually,
Yeah.
it actually goes back to a pretty specific day for me.
Yeah.
Julie and I were at a park in New Mexico before I had officially started going to school, and we were sharing a breakfast burrito from
Yeah, we were eating breakfast burritos and
Twister.
I don't know. We were eating
Twisters.
Yeah, I don't know.
Twisters
We were
in
eating
Mexico.
breakfast burritos and he was like doing wildland fire in the summers, not making a ton of money, and he decided he wanted to go to school. And I already decided that I was going to Utah Valley University, so he was like, I'm gonna apply there and I'm gonna try to get in. And
I
he
got accepted
applied.
in. I'd never been to
Yeah.
Utah.
And it was in May, and then we ended up going to school in August. So
Yeah.
it was like pretty quick after, but
I took one look at Utah, saw the mountains, and it
Yeah.
sold me. So that's
yeah.
really why I felt comfortable making the move up here.
Yeah. Oh, is your husband, this is the next question. Is your husband a flexible eater? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, 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 yes. I am so, so, so happy about that. I'm thankful about that because I can make anything and he will eat it. Like, for example, this is a funny story I just thought of. But when we first started dating, it was like 4 months into when we were dating. I tried to make a meal. I was like so excited about it. I wanted to make him potato soup because I love potato soup, he loves potato soup, and this was my mom's recipe. So I was like, I'm gonna make this potato soup. It is going to be so good. We're gonna love it. I actually made it with one of my really good friends, Michelle. So we made this, me and Michelle, we made this potato soup, and for some reason it smelled like it was burning. I don't know, it just smelled like a mess. But I served it up, I gave it to Will, and I didn't eat any, well, I ate a small amount, and Michelle ate a small amount, and it was bad. It tasted like flour, it tasted burnt, but he ate that entire bowl, and he was like, thank you so much. He was so happy about it, and he didn't tell me until like just recently how much he hated that soup, but he was trying to be nice about it, and I am so happy that he was trying to be sweet about the gross potato soup. But yes, he's a flexible eater.
What is your favorite type of food?
Oh.
Ooh.
You could go first.
New Mexican food. Breakfast burritos, green chili, Christmas enchiladas. That's what it is. New Mexican food of all kinds.
Yeah, he loves New Mexican food. I love New Mexican food too. It's one of my favorite foods, but I really, my favorite food's anything I'm in the mood for. So I could go for like chicken wings, I could go for French fries, I could go for Mexican food, Indian food. Seriously, if I'm in the mood for something, it's my favorite food in the moment, so.
True.
Yeah. Oh, what do you do when you don't feel like cooking? So now that we live like pretty much in the middle of nowhere, we live in a town of like 200 people at most. There's nowhere to go out to eat for like an hour and a half. So when I don't feel like cooking,
we still have to eat at home.
Yeah, we still have to eat at home. So sometimes
I have snacks.
Yeah. Well.
No.
So since we do live in the middle of nowhere, we don't have a Subway, we don't have anything, like we don't have any restaurants, we don't have any fast food. The only thing we have is a gas station and a commissary, which a commissary is a military-based grocery store, and our commissary here where we live is very, very small. It is like, a lot of times they don't have stuff I need, let's just say. But when I don't feel like cooking, sometimes I like to grab a frozen pizza from the commissary because they have frozen pizzas there. Or I don't know, I like to shred up chicken and make burritos, like Mexican burritos.
Those are super easy and fast.
Yeah, burritos are super easy. So that's what we do when we don't feel like cooking. Okay.
How often do we get to see our family?
Oh yeah.
Not
often enough.
Not often enough for me, especially.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's so hard now that we live so far out. Our airport's probably 2.5 hours away, and our families are coming from either Colorado or New Mexico. So, I mean, it's just super hard for our families to get airplane tickets. Airplane tickets from New Mexico to Utah, they're expensive, and then driving up here, it's like...
It's about 10 to 12 hours.
No, it takes 13 hours now that we live... Well, no, now that we live in the middle of nowhere, it's 13. But it takes forever, and we're going to see them at Thanksgiving, so we're super, super happy about that. Oh, how long have you been doing YouTube? It's been exactly 1 year.
1 year.
So, yeah, happy 1 year, YouTube.
All right, next question. Do you ever eat out? Favorite restaurant? And how often do we get to eat out?
That's a good question. So actually, to start with that question, since we live so far out, we don't eat out very often, but we do go into town either once a week or every other week, either on a Friday or a Saturday. And we typically do eat out for lunch and dinner when we do go into town, or we just eat out for dinner or lunch, whatever timing it is when we get to town. And
some of our restaurants that we like.
Oh yes. Texas Roadhouse.
Texas Roadhouse.
That's probably my favorite restaurant ever because I love steak.
Yeah, I love steak too.
Texas Roadhouse, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, like all of the cheap.
Yeah, lately when we get to go to town at once, a lot of different options sound better than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
another thing is, I think it's good and healthy to eat out because it's like, if you're cooking every night of the week, if you're making breakfast, lunch, and dinner every night of the week, every single month, you're going to get burnt out of cooking and you're not going to have the desire to cook anymore. So I do think it's like healthy to go out in a way for your mental cooking health. So
yeah, and sometimes going out provides cooking motivation, gives you an idea of new types of foods to start making at home.
And it gives you a burst for the week to cook. I don't know, that's just my point of view. Here's another question. How do you have the energy to cook? So
I young mom energy.
No, I do not have a young mom energy, but my energy to cook is I like to cook yummy food, so I know that there's going to be a yummy meal at the end of it, so that gives me a lot of like encouragement, I guess I should say. Plus, living so far out, I don't have any option to go eat at a fast food place or anything. So I know I either cook a good meal, or we have cereal, or we don't eat. So that's how I have energy to cook. And then I also like to cook good food for our daughter, Brinley. Yeah. Oh, Brinley's actually napping right now. So if you're wondering where she is taking her nap. Do you want to ask the next one?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Oh, this one's directed towards you.
Ooh.
Or I guess both of us. Where did we work before we had a family?
Oh, okay. I've never told you guys this, but so before I was even married, I was a nanny. So I've been a nanny forever. It feels like I started nannying when I was about 16 years old in high school. I nannied 2 amazing kids. They were in elementary school and middle school. They were super sweet kids. And then we moved to Utah and I nannied while I was in college. I nannied 3 kids, like 7, 5, and 2, and they were so sweet. I loved them. And then I nannied another family and another family. Oh, one family I almost nannied for was considered a famous family here in Utah.
It's true, and a lot of other places.
Yeah, they're considered famous, so I don't know. That was fun to interview for them, but I just didn't have the right feeling about that family, so I just left the interview. I didn't like it. But anyways, I nannied a lot. I actually didn't finish college because college just wasn't for me. But what were your
She was supporting me.
Yeah, I was supporting him through college. I was like, what do you call it? I was the breadwinner. I was the one making money. All right, so for the next question, it is...
Were you a good cook before you got married? I was not a good cook.
Oh my gosh, no.
No matter how good I thought I was. I would make myself meals that I would chow down in large quantities, but I tried to make some for her sometimes.
I pretended like I liked his food at times, but he was, oh my gosh. Okay, here's an example of how bad of a cook he was. So this was at our last house before this house. I was like, let's just have a free-for-all night. I'll make my dinner, you make your dinner, just simple things.
That was a surprise, so I had no plans or intentions of cooking that night.
He's never planned a meal. So I just make this really easy like veggie burger type of thing. It was just like really simple and easy and yummy. And then all of a sudden I look over and I wish I had a picture. Maybe I do have pictures. I don't think I do, but I look over and he has my saucepan and he has like 2 turkey burgers in there, 1 chicken burger, and he's like grinding them up, and that's fine and stuff, and he cooks that up, and then he adds a can of diced tomatoes, and then a can of black beans, just like straight up a can of black beans, and then like, he's like, would a can of corn be good in this? I'm like, I don't know, this like, it doesn't look good, but he adds a can of corn, and he keeps adding all this stuff.
Green chili.
He added so much stuff to it.
It was good.
And he puts the lid on and then it just starts boiling over and it's like under the stove. It looks like a volcano at that point. Yeah, anyways, I wouldn't consider him an amazing cook, but he also doesn't follow recipes and he doesn't like, I don't know, he's a good cook.
I go rogue when I cook, but I can grill, so.
Oh, he's an amazing griller. Grill, so. Yeah. But like as far as like kitchen stuff, like I wouldn't say he's an amazing cook, but that's just my point of view. Okay, so for the next question is, am I the youngest or the oldest in my siblings? So I'm actually smack in the middle. I have a brother who's 25 and then I have a younger sister who is 18. So I'm just right in the middle of that. What about you?
I'm the baby of the family.
Yep, he's a little baby.
My closest sibling is my sister, who's 6 years older than me, and then my brother's 10 years older than me, and then my oldest sister's 13 years older than me.
There's a total of 4 kids in his family. Yeah. He's the youngest of 4.
I'm the youngest by far.
Oh, do we ever fight or argue? Ooh. Bring in some drama. Just joking.
When we have low blood sugar.
No, so I think it is healthy for every relationship ever to get in arguments and that type of thing. I just think that is completely fine and healthy. So yes, we do argue, but it's like everything we argue about or, you know, have our differences about, we try to resolve them by the time we go to bed, so we never go to bed angry at each other, and our arguments never last too long. So
and we always are working towards the same goal and direction.
Yeah.
As a family, so
yeah,
we really see eye to eye.
Yep. So if you argue in a relationship, it is completely normal.
It's so normal.
Just try to go to bed happy with each other.
And feed each other good. And
eat lots of ice cream.
eat lots of ice cream.
Yeah. Okay, where did you guys meet? That is going to be the question for him. Where did we meet? This is completely weird. Just
I'll put this on me. So it was during my first wire season, and I was actually following her on Instagram, which I'm not a big user of, and I just thought she was super cute. And
I don't even know how we were following each other on Instagram.
Have no idea. I didn't know any of her friends.
Yeah, I never followed anybody I didn't know on Instagram, but some reason we were following each other. I don't know.
Yeah, and so like I said, during my first fire season, and I kind of started, you know, thinking about building up the courage to actually send a DM. Yeah. So I was in the middle of the mountains in Wyoming, in the Medicine Bow Mountains, caught about 5 minutes of service, pulled the fire truck over, took a picture of my face, which was so bad. And it wasn't my face. It was outside of the truck. It was on the mountains. It was just straight outside of the truck.
Yeah, it was just like a random. It was also a blurry picture, very blurry. So like red flag number 1, like kind of creepy.
Said, "Hey, I'd like to get to know you." I think I had no sort of what kids call it, swag or charisma. Just said, "Hey, I'd like to get to know you." And just lost service for like 3 hours that day, so I was just panicking the whole time.
And then I said, haha, okay. And then from there we kind of
started talking on Instagram, and then
yeah. It is such a weird story. Like, we never tell people how we actually met like this, but we just typically tell people we met through friends, but this is the actual story.
And we actually talked for...
We talked for like...
Because that summer, we were up, me and a bunch of fire guys were up at the lake, and I did this really big cliff dive, and blew out my shoulder. It was actually an existing injury from snowboarding that I never had fixed, but I completely blew it out. My labrum, my bicep, completely destroyed my shoulder. And so I went back to Colorado to heal up at my brother's house, and we were talking.
And he wouldn't stop trying to talk to me.
For about 6 months, yeah.
He drove me crazy.
Yeah, he loved it.
He drove me crazy. Like, he would text me like 10 messages and I wouldn't text him back. And he's like, when can we call each other? When can we call each other? And I was like, no, I don't want to talk to you. Like, get out of here. I don't want to, please just don't talk to me. Pretty much. But, and then like some way or another we started talking, and then we were like Skyping every day. And then we like finally met each other about a year later, and then we just became best friends. And then from there we started dating, and then we went to college together, and then
here we are today.
Now we're married.
Persistence is key.
Now
but not in a bad way, just...
Now we're married and live in the middle of nowhere. So, alright, so we have made it to the very last question, and he's going to ask the very last question.
Okay. Will you ever make vlogs? I'd watch them every day.
So that is a really good question. So I am super duper bad on camera. He thinks he's
super shy on camera.
Yeah, he thinks he's shy on camera too. So like, I don't know. It's a great question because the number one reason I would like to make vlogs is for Brinley. I would like to have
family memories.
Yeah, family memories.
Sounds
like
fun. Going
places, and like a few weeks ago, we went to the Children's Museum here in Utah, and I videoed a lot of it, of Brinley, and it was really nice because I have all this footage of her, but it would be nice to like put it into a vlog. Of course, I don't have that much camera footage, but I don't know, it would be nice to make vlogs someday. I'm not trying to make them anytime soon, but I don't know, we'd have to, I don't know, it's an interesting question. I don't know, actually, I would like your guys' feedback. So would you watch vlogs from us? I don't know, would you?
Yeah.
Would you guys watch the vlogs? Please let me know in the comments down below, because having you guys comment really does help us more than you think.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I love
reading them.
Yeah, and I love to have your guys' input on things. So like asking you if you'd like to watch our vlogs, you know, if you would, tell us. If you wouldn't, tell us. But
yeah, and if there's any more questions, we really love the community that is surrounding my life on YouTube.
Yeah.
And we're willing to do another one of these if all the questions weren't answered.
Yeah, so there might have been some questions that we didn't answer just because I didn't quite get all of them on Instagram and on YouTube. So if you have any more questions, ask them down below as well. But thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate you guys. And as always, I would love to have you over here. So go ahead and subscribe down below the video. But I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.